Oh, snap. It's another time capsule from the Galactic 0 point. Greetings from Costa Rica. That's Costa Rica. But when you put the letters together, it says star. We're here to unite the stars, unite the star tribes, to reunite with our celestial origins. And so we live in the stillness, we live in the 0 point. I call it the Galactic 0 point over here. And this is a time capsule in the no time, no space. So we're all in different timelines at any given moment, but here we're operating from the organic ascension timeline. And so today we'll talk a little bit about Gene Key 52 and tropical astrology. We're sitting in the 52 right now, which is my North Node. And it's about the stillness. And they don't necessarily refer to it in the book as 0 point, but I will elaborate further on how we operate in that 0 point energy, working with timelines, collapsing fields, understanding more deeply how to reside in that 0 point field of creation, of timeline creation. Yeah, here's the 52. It's a shadow of stress. Anybody ever have any stress going on in their lives? I used to. You know, when I had stress in my life, I had stress in my life when I was living in time. You know, I had stress in my life when I was busy and I always had something to do and somewhere to go. And my calendar was extremely full, way too full for any human actually to accommodate. And yeah, and what does stress do? You know, it ages you, and it messes with your system and your body and your health. And so we could put stress on any given thing, but ultimately stress just means you're not living in the harmonious fields of your design. It's pretty simple. So then you start to like understand a new way. Well, as we move from like the idea of masculine creation versus feminine creation, because I always say like with the feminine, just to give you an example, I was shown this example one time. It's like when the mother is with child, she is not running around going, oh, gotta get the eyes, gotta get the blood, gotta get the tendons, gotta get the bones, gotta do this. No, all the mother needs to do is sit in the stillness, and a baby is created out of her body. I mean, she obviously had to receive a seed, right? But then from that point on, she just got to stay alive, stay a little sane, feed herself, take care of herself, be in the stillness, be in the pause. And that baby is birth. That baby, over a 9-month period of doing nothing but staying alive and taking care of your vessel, a newborn child is created. And so that is the power of stillness and the feminine creation. And when you start to think like that, there's no like making it happen. You're not forcing it. You're not making it. You don't got a checklist or a to-do list. You just literally need to be alive, hold the feel, and allow the creation to come through, to be birthed through you. That is stillness, right? And so the stress is unnecessary. The baby is going to be created no matter what. So the more we can chill out, the higher the frequency, right? The healthier the baby's going to be, in fact, because actually, and this applies to all things, not just having children, right? This applies to the birth of a new creation on all levels. And that's why I always say we're working with timeline creation. And so the frequency field of stillness, right, not of stress, creates what you might say like a more harmonious baby, a more harmonious creation. If you're in stress while the child is in the womb, The child is likely born of stress and will reflect to you that stress. And the same with any creation that we're working with here. These are quantum mechanics. This is creation mechanics that we're sharing with you today. So residing in that 0 point field is what allows the creation to effortlessly come through without resistance. And so the gift level, so the shadow of the 52 is stress. The gift is restraint. And so that's like, you know, even when you think it's like, hold me back, you know, you ever remember, I remember in high school or middle school, you know, kids would be getting in fights and they would be pretending to get in fights. Nobody really wanted to get in a fight. They were just all pretending, but they'd be like, hold me back, hold me back, hold me back. I don't want to, you know. The restraint is like that. It's like, you think you got to go make it happen, run out and go do it, versus like, no, hold back a minute. Like, hold back a minute in that regal position, in that 0 point position. Hold a little restraint. Don't run out feeling like you got to go do something like whiplash style. Like, sit in that divinity, sit in that pause, sit in holding that field, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, it comes to you, it matches you, the creation flows through you. That's 0 point creation field. So let's go. Hola, my sister, what's up, Aurora? Our reality is being rendered in real time in the no time, right? And that's the whole point of us bringing through these codes of the no time, of the 0 point. It's beyond time. Right. And that's why we work with this. So we'll talk about the kin of the day too, but we've got the 52 up. So let's see what's going on in the 52. The 52 from stress to restraint to stillness. This gift has a huge impact on the emotional body. It communicates and exudes calmness throughout the aura. There have always been people in the world who remain completely unflustered by external crises, such as emotional turmoil or human conflict and war. There have always been such people among us, and these are the people of the 52nd gift. And this is what I'm talking about when I say hold the field. Like, hold the field, sit in the stillness, hold the field, get in the 0 point. Like, we're not getting too reactive. We're not getting too emotional about this. Like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, if a child falls down and they get hurt, and you're like running like a chaotic field, like, oh my God, are you okay? You know, it's like, surely we've all seen the mechanics of this creation, because all of a sudden it's like a disaster, right? But I've learned over the years of having 4 children that, you know, something falls, something breaks, and you just kind of sit in the stillness, and it like literally stills the wave. Like, it moves through and even like collapses chaos. So to be able to hold the stillness in the midst of all storms, I will even say it's like the eye in the midst of the storm. This is what we're talking about here. And so I'm not trying to impose this gift or this code on anyone, but I do want to say, like, whether you have, it is my North Node. So, and it's pretty much my only line 1. It's like something I am here to hold and physicalize, and I've become master point at this. I say that with all humility. I don't normally say that about anything, but I sit in this stillness so hard. It doesn't matter what is going on in the reality. I can hold this field and I start to collapse chaos in my presence. And it also has the gift of working with stilling the mind. So this is a 52, which I also connect to Sirius B52. And also, when you look in the Galactic Maya Zolkin, there are 52 galactic activation portals. So there's a lot about this number 52 that I connect to Sirius, Sirius. This is a Sirius mission. We have Palladian DNA on a Sirius mission. And we are all the codes. All right. So the great unlocker of the 52, the programming partner, you can see it in the upper right, is the 58. And on the left-hand side, this is in the I Ching, it's called keeping still. It's one of the core 8 codes. It's mountain over mountain. What I mean by the core 8 codes is there are 8 key codes that are the key configurations that all the rest of the 64 codes are created out of, with hexagram or trigram connections, okay? So this one is mountain over mountain. And it's part of the codon ring of seeking. And you can see all of the other codes that are connected within that. And when you want to take the gene keys to a deeper level, you go into the codon rings. And this is one of my favorite. From the beginning, I was looking at the codon rings. There are 22 codon rings. It is the chemical formations of more of our collective universe and the collective waves that we're coming into beyond the individual. So we utilize the gene keys to start to discover and recover some of the individual gifts and aspects of the self to start to bring us into more of a collective wave frequency. And so we don't lose our individuation here. In fact, we must find that path of individuation to really know thyself and to hold that field and to come into harmony within the individual self and the stillness, so that we can then come into the field together to start to really co-create something beyond the I, me, my, beyond the selfish will, just about myself versus all of creation. Because you are invited, if and when you so choose, if you would ever like to sit in the seat of creation and to understand that we are all of the creation, and to observe the creation as our personal creation. I'm talking about on a planetary level. Of course, we do that on a personal level. Your frequency creates your reality. We are the creators of this reality. We're the creators of our personal reality. We're also being invited to sit on the throne of the creation of all of reality. And then with that, becomes a great responsibility. When you sit in that seat and you understand that is true, what do you do about it? Well, there are many of us that have come into that realization or are starting to, and we have to go through the eye of the needle and release all personal importance in order to come into these fields of great service. And this is the call to the law of one. And so it's moving from service to self to service to others, where everybody wins. So we got River and Rita in the house tonight. Okay. The 52 is connected to the physiology of the perineum. And that's down in that sacred spot between the front and the back. It has a lot to do with the connection to the base of the spine and bringing that life force energy up. That's why I always say all is fine when it flows up the spine. All is fine when it flows up the spine. And so we're looking to bring that energy all the way up from the base of the spine to the top of the holy mountain, right? Which you could call the land of milk and honey. That is your pineal gland to the promised land. And so we speak in code, we speak clearly in code to help us remember beyond the logical mind, because we're moving beyond logic and science in the way that we need to try to make sense of everything with rationality into the deeper understanding of the inner source of wisdom. And we're speaking epigenetics here. We're speaking to the DNA. We're speaking to the awakening of your soul, of your genetics, of your cells, of your atoms in the no time, no space. So let's see what else is going on. Let's go into, by the way, the crystal connected to the 52 is howlite. If you know that crystal, it's white with a little gray through it. I always like to connect to the howlite because I connected to Sirius. I'm wearing some moldavite today, actually, that my boy Marcus gave me. And it's, that's Gene Key 51, by the way, the sudden awakening. Awakening comes as a shock. I'm just bringing that one in. I think that's part of the Ring of Seeking. Okay, let's pull up the kin of today. The kin of today in the galactic Maya count, in the galactic time, is 199 blue self-existing storm. So the storm is always about the catalyst. It's let's see, Aurora, it's time for our sisters and brothers to let go of the implant of competition and get out of their silos. Well, that's the fucking truth. I've been waiting for that for fucking years. I've been on this mission sitting solo, like inviting us all to come together. There can be no personal importance and there can be no competition in the field. There has to be humble hearts of service coming together for the greater good of all before the fall. Rewrite it all before the fall. Reverse the curse like we rehearsed. Waiting for it, calling it in. I got my banana phone. Actually, I don't have my banana phone right now, but it's like ET phone home. We're calling our brothers, calling our sisters. That is the healing. In fact, that's sacred seal number 3, the healing of the wound of shame. And ultimately, it will change the way we use money in this world, and it'll change the way that we all start to work together for the greater good of all. And been waiting for that one for a while. And when the many mothers and the many brothers all come together, we can end all suffering on this planet. It's so important. And that's why, what it takes is that we're inviting ourselves to move beyond needing to be the healer or the authority or any inferior or superior kind of nature. We are all coming into equal balance in the field, right? Like when somebody comes into my space, I'm welcoming them home and I'm celebrating the journey that they must have taken to even get to this space. I recognize them as a master because I have come into my mastery. And so I don't need to cast myself on anyone or teach anyone or fix anyone or heal anyone. I'm holding I always say when I stopped becoming a healer, all the masters showed up. So we're in the phase right now of welcoming the masters home. And then a master's not sitting to be worshipped. That's the fake messiah complex. The master is like, okay, what do we come here to do? We're Kalki avatars. We're the 144,000. We're the guardians of the galaxy. We all have infrastructure, resources, keys, codes, intelligence to come together. We're all a piece of the puzzle. When you've got 1,000 piece or 144,000 piece puzzle, right? It doesn't matter if you're the corner piece or the center piece or any piece. It looks stupid if it's missing any pieces. We need every single piece. This is the fractal coming together. This is the bringing together of the breaking of the shards of the mirror, to come into one full picture. And that is the galactivation. That is the return of the mother and the father and the child. That is the Trinity consciousness. That's the threefold flame. That is the return that we are calling in right now. It is an invitation to rise. And I have, it's crazy because business is a lot of times what gets in the way of this, because everyone's like running their individual businesses. It ain't about business anymore. All that shit's about to fall. Break the bank, collapse it all down. I don't care. Not motivated by money one bit, only motivated by the preservation of the human race and the planet. If all in favor, say aye, and let's come together and let's put together our pieces of the puzzle so that we can serve the greater good of all of humanity in this way. And so I have questions about anyone that's kind of talking about the same stuff I'm talking about, but then doesn't want to talk, but for a price. That's kind of been I've been observing that in the field for the last 7 to 8 years. It's like everybody wants to talk for a price. And I'm like, no, I'm talking about council meetings here. I don't need your session, actually. We need to come together in council. Let's come together in council and talk about how we're going to do this. Like, let's do it. Let's do it. There's no competition here. We need the council to come together. We need many strong beings. And we all have to do the hierarchy. Like, this is the 45, the communion, the 6 planetary initiation. The hierarchy is we all got to clean our shit so that we don't come into the field all sloppy. Because if you've still got pain points that you need to heal within yourself, that's yours to own. So wholeness, exactly. Come into the field whole. We're all diamonds here. We're all purified. We've all done the work. And we might need to do a little washing when we get into the field together. I understand that. I've seen that. But we're all responsible for owning our piece of what it is that we're here to clean. And really, when you hold a pure, clean field, it's rather silent. You're just inviting the field to rise. All of a sudden, everything that needs to be seen is seen, and it's purified in that moment. It doesn't even require like a direct confrontation. of any sort, really. It's just like keeping the heart open and moving through any kind of last discomforts and what you might call the friction. Yeah, of coming together. It's so fluid though, you know, we're coming into the fluidity. Looking beautiful, babe. Akhenaten. Okay, so wave spell of the yellow warrior. Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, we're in the wave of the warrior, and I always feel that we're in the 4th day of the warrior, and we're on the storm day. So we're here to make waves in the stillness. We're here for being a catalyst and transformation, you know. And so the wave spell of the yellow warrior, it's unify in order to question, attracting fearlessness and the power of intelligence. You know, notice it's not about fighting or anything like that. It's just that we're holding that field of fearlessness. We're holding the power of the intelligence. And then we're working with that 52 stillness power, the force of all creation. So, okay, let's go up a little bit and I'll read you that. I really got on a roll there. I wanted to read you the galactic affirmation of today to get us galactically synchronized. This is the 195 blue self-existing, or 199 blue self-existing storm. I define in order to catalyze, measuring energy. I seal the matrix of self-generation with the self-existing tone of form, and I'm guided by the power of vision. And so let's see, what is today? We're in June, so we're rolling up on July. So we're actually finishing up. You see it says solar ring of the yellow resonant seed. That's been the theme of this year. Kin number 124 was the start of this new year, which is July 26th. So we're on day 336. So we're actually finishing up an annual cycle that starts on July 26th in the Galactic Maya. And that's why we always gather on July 25th, which we call the day out of time. So I always plant the seed that July 25th, if anybody's feeling the call, let's gather together, get on a plane, let's get over here into the 0 point and do some stuff. This is the collapsing of the fields. This is the healing of all races. This is the cleaning of all debts. This is the day out of time. It's a day of celebration. And then July 26th will start the new year, which will be kin number 229, galactic moon. And so will you pull up the prayer of the 7 galactic directions, Marcus? That's the next thing that I want to bring in, the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. This was by Jose Arguelles and Lloydine Arguelles created this long ago. The prayer of the 7 galactic directions. Yeah, so we're just going to call in the 7 directions. I meant to do this at the beginning, but I just kind of roll with things, and it all gets done at some point. So from the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. It's very interesting too, because a lot of these end up connecting to gene keys. Like clarity is the 57. Okay, from the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. Activating that cosmic library written in the cells of your DNA. You don't need to be told, you don't need to be sold. It's right inside of you. Tune into that. That is empowerment. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, May right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. And see, this is where I instill the memory of, we are the star people and we are the ancestors, and we must gather here on this earth right now, because we're here to bring the house of heaven to the earth. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. I love that part. May the heartbeat of her crystal core. So we see the center of the earth as a crystal core, and we see that we're receiving the heartbeat from the crystal core of the earth, and our heart is the crystal core. May the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. And from the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love, right? And I call that center, the Hunab Ku, the galactic source, the 0 point. And so we'll talk about Gene Key 52, which I connect to that. And it says, Ayum Hunab Ku, Eva Maya, Ema Ho, and I'm going to sing it. Ayum Hunab Ku, Eva Maya, Ema Ho, Ayum Hunab Ku, Eva Maya, Ema Ho, Ayum Hunab Ku, Eva Maya, Ema Ho, Ayum Hunab Ku, Eva Maya, Ema Ho. Oh, nice to see you, Danica. 1111, Gates of Heaven. Beautiful. Yes. So that's 911 my time over here. Someone please call 911. I think that's Wyclef. I can't remember. The Fugees always comes to my mind. And Lauryn Hill too. And we'll walk right up to the sun, hand in hand. We'll walk right up to the sun, we won't land. We walk right up to the sun, hand in hand. We walk right up to the sun, we won't land. If I rule the world, I free all my sons. I love them, baby. Black diamonds and pearls. If I rule the world. This is the solar consciousness. We are solar beings, and we'll walk right up to the sun, hand in hand. We'll walk right up to the sun, we won't land. We'll walk right up to the sun, hand in hand. We'll walk right up to the sun, we won't land. All right, a little bit of my DJ moves over here. So thank you all for being here. Thanks for doing the work. Thanks for working in the 0 point energy. This is a technology. This is a process, 0 point technology, free energy technology. You could say that too. And I'm still laughing at the idea that people are throwing around the terms free energy, trying to charge for that shit. Like, that ain't it. It's no different to me. It's like, okay, this is the more physics perspective of the idea of saying Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, right? It's like free energy for a fee, for a price. It's like, oh, Mary Magdalene's a prostitute. No, we're not selling this. This is fucking free, right? When we start to open up those gates of freedom, of free energy, right? To freely give and to freely receive. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. Like, who's holding on here? Where's the constriction at? Clean up the kinks, right? The kinks. open up the kinks in the hose so that the water can flow, right? We keep it flowing in all directions, in the galactic, the 7 directions, the galactic directions. Philanthropy unlocks free energy. Freely give, freely receive. There is enough to go around. Where there's a trillion, billion, and million and a zero, like, let's spread that out. Let's figure this out. Let's do it. Let's start talking about it. Let's get real about it. Freely give, freely receive. Who opens the gates first? I've been speaking this message. I've been opening up these gates for a long ass time, but damn, it's just so fucking greedy out there. And Gene Key 54 is the ascension code, and the shadow is greed. Everybody's holding on tight. It's just fake money anyways. It's just fake little numbers in video games that make people feel important, rich, secure, safe. You know, the true Christed family has returned when everyone has what they need. That's what we're preaching. That's what we're teaching. That's what we're bringing in. This is the invitation. We all have something to give. Some of us have walked completely out of monetary systems not to be sold. Hearts of gold can't be bought, can't be sold. There's a stairway to heaven. We're all on our way. There is that going through the eye of the needle that's being called. So this is the invitation for the communion for unlocking planetary poverty, for unlocking prosperity in the genetics of all beings. Because we ultimately are all one genetic family. And so I always talk about it like the river is flowing, you know, and the river doesn't go, and I'm saying this with liquid light, and I mean, the mother river doesn't decide she's only gonna go here and then she's gonna skip over this part. She gushes and fulfills the entire thing. She's just filling. Unlimited flow, unlimited flow, unlimited flow. Whoever is there will be sustained. And we're opening up to that unlimited galactic mother river flow. So philanthropy unlocks free energy. That is a part of unlocking prosperity on an individual and on a planetary level. The Pearl sequence is about this. And so you can utilize, you can like look at your gene keys as a star map of unlocking prosperity. And this type of prosperity is not going to be individual prosperity. You have to come into a planetary prosperity consciousness. And actually in the Pearl sequence, Richard Rudd talks about, specifically in the Pearl, we all have a different line number. I call it the dragon in the Pearl. If you ever want to dive into your Pearl sequence and like the line number of your Pearl, I have a line 4 there. So I'm a messenger. I work with the heart. I'm a messenger of the heart frequency. I bring the heart frequency and the heart message. I have the 43.4 there. So it's about the direct insight in the causal plane. And the invitation for exactly what I'm talking about here, to start to open up the gates to unlock planetary prosperity. Richard Rudd talks about if there were a collapse or a fall in the financial and the monetary systems, which there will be and there already is, you know, that how would we create a new system that could utilize this fake game while it's still here to sustain and create a new reality, a sustainable reality. This terminology of sustainable has been like thrown around for so long, but I've yet to really see it take place, you know? And so it takes a village, it takes a family. These are the galactic invitations. Oh, and you know, I was pulling up a chart today. It was tropical astrology. I look at all calculations of astrology. I'm not going to say one is more than the other. We're in the 0 point, but I was just looking in the snapshot field. I am highly activated right now for sure. Like I have a stellium in Scorpio that's pretty much all Palladian codes. My sun, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter are there, and the moon is there right now. And then I see directly opposite the moon is Mars in Taurus. at around 28 degrees. So there's like, and I call this the Palladian axis, late degree Taurus codes, late degree Scorpio codes, like from about 24 to 29 are Palladian axis codes, Palladian wisdom, Palladian data. And so that's really what we're working with, which is actually the 8 and the 14. If anybody carries those codes, you don't have to carry them. We are all the codes, but we're just utilizing numerical coded technology to understand a more no time, no space communication. Floating, flowing in the stream, merrily, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 dragonfly stream. I like to sing about the dragonfly stream, you know, Gene Key 55, which is the prophecy. It talks about the change of education systems, of scientific systems, of the way we use money, of the way that school works, about sacred couples and relationships and communities, and the 55 talks about the victimization of the emotional state. It's the freedom code, Freedom 55. So I like how this, I like how the prayer of the 7 galactic directions is here. And I like how I can see some of your comments here, because a lot of times I can't see them, or they like go through. And if I don't catch it in time, I miss it. So I'm happy to be seeing some comments over here. Yeah, and feel free if at any moment, I really enjoy the interaction, and it's good to see and feel brothers and sisters on the line on this mission, on this 0 point mission. If you ever have any questions, throw them in here, and I'll try to get to them. And if you're ever wanting to reach out to understand a little more about the genetic codes, about the star mapping, about how we come together in service, shoot me a message for some direct one-on-one stuff. I do everything by cosmic donation. I appreciate the keeping the circuits open and keeping the contribution going, inner and outer. I'm always open to cosmic donations. I give freely and I freely receive. And I think we all need to practice that a little more, freely giving and freely receiving. And just like open up that circuitry. If not you, then who? If not us, then who? Donald Trump? You know, Bitcoin? No, it's us. It's us on the field. It's us in the field. We're creating the new timelines together as we work together and communicate this energy. Unlocking free energy. Yeah, it's interesting you're bringing in the 7. I was just reading the City of the 7 yesterday. I was on the phone with a friend who named Hans. He's in Norway. He was up this high mountain, and we were talking in the high mountain yesterday at like 6 in the morning. And I didn't even know we were in the 52. I just kept saying 52 still mountain, 52 still mountain. And then we started talking about the 7, which is the army of light, or the army and the I Ching, and it talks about our future, you know, in the Siddhic field. And then I realized that the 7 is in Mercury right now. So I did record an audio of the City of the 7. And so if anybody wants to hear it kind of read out loud, message me and I'll send it to you so that you can kind of see, feel, hear the galactivation of the 7. Which is, you know, from the shadow, it's connected to the physiology of the diaphragm, just so we understand that. And then it's from the shadow of division to the gift of guidance. And then it's to the city of virtue. And virtue is its own reward. That's the 7, the virtuous code. All right, so what I think I want to do is get into the 52 and just read it. The 52 is the deepest genetic pattern undermining human health. I wrote 0 point, stabilize the field. I'm just going to show you a little glimpse of my notes here, my crazy book that's always got some The Dead Sea Scrolls, I like to say. This is actually a Sirius symbol, like a tuning fork. And yeah, a lot of times you can just get some information from the codes. This is my Gene Keys book. I don't know how it got this weathered and torn and old looking, but it does feel like I have studied it for thousands of years, even though I've only had it for maybe about 7. And I couldn't have like read it as much as it looks like, but maybe so. I don't know. I always have some fun little galactic gifts in here. Got some old pictures and images. This is from like an Etruscan reality and time, much more royal, it's like, yeah. Somehow like the world got taken over by fake royalty, by fake kings and queens, and dark kings and queens, false kings of tyranny. Where the true queens and kings give a fuck about their kingdom and their queendom. It's not about someone being worshipped ever. It's about service. That's what a true queen and a true king want to do. They want to serve their creation. They want to serve their kingdom. That's the true measurement of a king and queen, is the success and the life force and the bounteousness of the entire kingdom. So there are no real kings and queens on this planet right now with the way that the world has been failing. So the 7 is about repairing the world. And it is about that virtue. Hey, Robert, nice to see you here. I really appreciate your beauty and your virtue. I commented on your post the other day about feeling the virtue and the integrity of what you were talking about, and how embodiment isn't always beautiful. It's not always easy, because it's not always well received or perceived. It's like you got to have that inner gnosis of like your mission and what you're doing. And you're not here necessarily to be liked or approved or even understood by anybody. When we're coming into the embodiment field and holding the pure fields, you cannot seek outer affirmation or recognition for this, because in order for it to be recognized, someone else has to be there too. The Holy Mother recognizes the Holy Mother. The Holy Father recognizes the Holy Father. There are many. There's not just one. And you got to have that purity within yourself to recognize the purity in the other. And that is an invitation for all to come into. And so, the self-recognition, the self-love, and yet there's zero vanity in the purity. Yeah, pure hearts of service. Putting purity at the center of all things is how you get yourself through your last pieces of vanity, superiority, inferiority. And those are the same thing, by the way. You could be in the superior part where you feel like you're better than everybody. And then also it's the same shadow, the inferior, the inadequate, feeling like you're less than. Those are the things we came to clear up, to bring into the still point, to bring into the balance, to bring into the equality. We're all special. We're all the one. Damn, when we remember that and we all the ones come together, oof, that's what we need. That is what we need. So yeah, no inferior, no superior. Those are actually the shadows of the 17, which is sacred seal number 2. The omniscient field, Yeah, let's equip ourselves to come together as the great family. We are all the ones. We are all the special ones. We are here. We're not more special than anyone else. We're just, we remember though, the power, to whom much is given, much is required. To whom much is given, much is required. Oh, it's so good to see you. I appreciate that. You're an OG. Original goddess, original gangstar. Ain't nothing but a gangstar party. I can't see this comment. Sisters paying rent and taxes. I'm waiting for others to remember this and allow the sacred rage to move them on purpose. I can't see all of that comment, but I appreciate it. They killed our ancestors, the true kings and queens. They stole our lands, imprisoned us, and have our brothers and sisters paying rent and taxes. I am waiting for others to remember this and allow the sacred rage to move them on purpose. Yeah, you know, that's the 45 too, is the shadow of dominance, controlling the land. Like, I don't know. I mean, we've all got to stop contributing to, if you don't believe, like, as soon as I woke up and I realized I didn't believe in taxes anymore, like, as soon as I saw what was really going on, I was like, fuck it, I'm out. No more taxes, no more mortgage, no more bank account. I mean, I went full fucking force, extreme, stepped out of the whole dream into a new dream. And so I know there's like a patience in the process. But yeah, it all comes together in the end, but it takes some humble hearts. It takes some humility to get there. And that's the invitation. It's heart frequency, it's heart-based, it's heart-centered, and it's radical responsibility for the emotions, radical responsibility for our energy field, you know, to come into the field and bring presence and calmness and peace. In the midst of, like, we speak the truth, and that divine sword of truth and light clears through the cobwebs. But it does it in a way that it doesn't have to be offensive unless somebody's really fucking holding on so hard to their attachments. There are things that need to be severed, you know? And so, yeah, humble hearts of service, purity, open up those gates. Let's come together. It's so important. Waking up in the dream, dodging the hijack, taking our planet back with righteousness, truth, virtue, integrity, wholeness, love, service. No ulterior motives, no agendas. Radical responsibility for our identity. Yeah, radical responsibility for the emotions, for the attachments, for the stories, for how do we come into harmony? We got to have a harmonious field within to come into harmony with the next level, you know, with the council. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'll have people being like, oh, I was in a council meeting last night in my dreams. I'm like, well, fucking let's go. Let's get in a council meeting right now. Here we are. I'm not channeling some being out there. I am the being. I'm sitting right here, and so are you. As soon as we turn into that core council, that's the monad. That's the oversoul. We are here to embody the monad consciousness, the oversoul consciousness. There's no separation in that field. We need the core 12 coming together. 12 around the one making herstory. Yeah, it's all about balance and equality. All right, so let's bring in this 52. All right. Oh, and then I have this golden church right here, and I wrote on the back the royals. Yeah, it's a little dated and stuff, but obviously some false shit went on in the church. It's controlled a lot of people. It's raped a lot of people. It's pretty sick, actually. Oh my God. Actually, I forgot to tell you guys, speaking of churches. Yeah. Was talking to one of my neighbors here. She's a native of the country. We were doing Reiki work on her body last week, and some sound. I'm glad she's been open to receive these things. Eduardo was working with the Shruti box and toning and mantras and things like that. And so normally, just to be honest, like the more conservative generations, sometimes they're not so interested in the idea of like crystals and sound and, you know, all of the things. So anyways, you know, her body is is old from farming her entire life, farming coffee and beans and rice and corn, and hardly having anything to eat, growing up in a family of farmers, but not owning the farm, just basically, let's just call it what it fucking is, slavery. You know, and a lot of us are drinking our cacao and our coffee, and the truth is someone's still slaving probably about 10 to 15 hours a day, making about $1 or $2 an hour. That is still real right before my eyes, sitting here in Costa Rica. And so anyway, she's had some body pains and things like that from the hard work that she's done, and I recognize it on the hands of the many here that have farmed all of their lives, just the way that their fingers go and all of it. And yeah, okay, so rewind. 2 days ago, I went to the market, the fair here, and I ran into a woman who is from the Quebecar tribe. It's up in the mountain here. It's what they would call an original indigenous tribe here in Costa Rica. They don't have electricity. They don't have cell phone towers. They don't have supermarkets. They don't have roads. I mean, all of this has pretty much almost been completely breeded out anyways. But, and just to be really honest, what I'm putting together here, which could be an assumption, but so far based on the details, it feels like they're doing a lot of breeding and trafficking through a lot of this, these tribal cultures, because nobody even knows they exist, right? So there's like the frontline ones when you come to Costa Rica, and they're like doing ecotourism, where you're like coming to visit a tribe and learn about their tribe, and all of the white people, I'm just being real about this shit, are taking pictures like, oh, I just met an indigenous tribe, and you know, they're weaving a basket, and the whole time nobody's talking about the reality that pretty much every woman in that tribe is raped from a young age. Every single one of them. And they're pretty much impregnated from the time that they're old enough to be impregnated. You know, that's the reality of the situation. It's still shocking as the words come out of my mouth. It's not all it's cracked up to be. And that's why when someone says, oh, I just, you know, I got my ayahuasca from the guy from the shamanic tribe passed down through the generations. I'm like, if that whole tribe is nothing but incest and breeding and trafficking, that's not really noble for me. That's not really like securing my confidence in this guy's ability to serve medicine. And likely he's bringing parasites in the field. And we need to understand that. I still believe in the power of medicine and plants, and I believe in the importance and the responsibility of people holding pure, clean, intent astral bodies and understanding who they are, who they are affiliated with. You know, just because someone's called a shaman or they're indigenous or they're serving medicine doesn't mean they're working for the light. Actually, a lot of the indigenous symbolism that I've seen and the ritual and ceremony that I've seen looks like it has an affiliation to satanic ritual or demonic imagery. Like, wow. As I'm even saying that, I think I've been like trying to be quiet about this, but this is what I've been gathering in the field since I've been observing the field from neutral observation with compassionate witnessing. So here's the point. This girl, when she spoke English and she was a caretaker for a woman's child there in the field, she told me that the government's coming up to their mountain right now and that they're force jabbing any girl that's 12 years old or older to keep them from having more children. So it doesn't stop the rape, it just keeps them from having children, you know? And if they don't, which is called sterilization, and if they don't do what the government says in taking this shot, then they will, the Child Protective Services, which is called the PANI, will take their children. You know, so this is the reality of a world that's still taking place on the planet right now. And holy fuck, you know, I just like started to weep as she told me this, tears rolling through my eyes. And I'm like, who do you call? And then she talks about how they're coming to the main king of this tribe, the government is, and offering him money, a small amount of money that's nothing to them. And money doesn't even mean so much to them because they technically have the land, and it's not like they're paying phone bills and things like that, but actually they are. She was telling me on the Caribbean side that most everyone is fully connected to technology these days. And you could say that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, I guess everything is evolving. But she was also telling me how it was the German Catholic priests that were coming through that were impregnating all the tribes. They impregnate and they leave. They're not here to father them or anything. They're literally just sowing their seed and breeding. This is demonic breeding. This is lunar matrix type of stuff. This is the reality of what's been going on for ages, but it's still going on. And it's maybe like a little more visible where I am when I hear a direct story like this, that not so long ago and still right now, things like that are happening. And so she said like a lot of their tribe were turning into red hair and light eyes and lighter skin. So kind of like the breeding out of that tribal genetics. There's so much more to it. I mean, this is the reality of what's been going on our planet for ages, for centuries, all over the world. Not so long ago, like our time is a misunderstanding for how we even operate in this reality. So the idea of like Christopher Columbus, 1492, that's just a code word. None of this was so long ago, especially when you understand the idea of and consider the idea of resets, of timeline resets, and the idea of floods and things like that. And things getting restarted. Like I say that less than 4 generations ago, less than 150 years ago, that everything was kind of restarted. And so when you do consider and question the idea of genetic experiments, reservations, and cloning, what does that look like? Where does that take place? Who's doing that? Where do all these babies go? I mean, it's just it's a part of the reality that I've tried to stay away from, because I understand like focusing on the positive and moving forward and creation and all of that. But we're at a very interesting time in our present reality where it's just like when you do your own personal shadow work, like you can't really heal a shadow if you don't look at it, right? And so when you go from individual shadow work to planetary shadow work, we're healing shadows on a planetary level. And I thought for the longest time, I truly did, I was holding the field of heaven, of no such thing as duality. Actually, it was so beyond all of that, beyond the moon, beyond darkness. And then it was like, okay, bring this back into balance, because I thought if I faithfully just held the field of pure light, that all darkness would end on the planet. It might end within myself, but it's not ending on the planet yet. We can't look away from the suffering of humanity. This is the Bodhisattva vow. This is the invitation to like come down into the form and understand. This is even the Sophia coming down into the Sophionic correction, which is what I believe we're in right now, is the correction timelines. So we don't look away and we don't pretend it's not happening, because we've done that for a long time. And that's why it's gotten so big. That's why it's here. I'm missing some of y'all's comments here. Lineage are not enough, need to become our own sovereign field so that we are not easily manipulated and see issues before they arise. So often we learn through mistakes though, so we fail and then learn and choose different. It's all about intent and integrity. Unfortunately, predatory forces are deep in the psyche of many individuals. Any leader or facilitator especially could very easily succumb to lesser tendencies. Time spent and lineage are not enough. We need to become our own sovereign fields. So often this is so true. Well, and the way that I see it is that we've all been born through corruption. We've all been born through timelines of corruption. We were born into timelines and family lineage corruption and early childhood trauma and implants. And so like none of us are immune from the truth of this. And that's why we came here to purify our bloodlines. We came here to purify all bloodlines. within ourselves and our direct family lineage, but we're talking more on a planetary level. And in fact, this is a good one to bring up. Marcus, if you're there, will you pull up from the Ascension Glossary, just put in 777, which 777 I also can connect in the Sophia code to the Sophia Mother Dragons. And also when I pulled up the 777 yesterday, hybridization for programmable DNA. God. Yeah, when we talk about hybrids and shit like that, like it's happening right here, right now. When you talk about the idea of like a German Catholic priest, you know, impregnating, inbreeding, like laying his seed down, like this has been happening for so freaking long. Okay, 777, here we go. I pulled this up yesterday, Sophia Mother Dragon 777. 777 is a special master code that has relevance in the consciousness principle governing the architecture of the planet, which pertains to the physical embodiment of Christ consciousness and relevant connections that embody the law of one principles of the Trinity source of the Godhead. The sacred code of 777 can be applied in a multitude of ways to request clearing of ancestral lines, miasma, or inherited imbalances in the Christ consciousness through the natural laws which support moral, virtue, and spiritual ethics. And so that's what we're doing if we so choose. We can request that we're clearing our ancestral lines, miasma, inherited imbalances in the Christ consciousness through natural laws, supporting virtue and ethics, ancestral clearing. Many of us suffering from an orphan complex. So when we talk about orphan repopulation, we were pretty much all born of a line that was an orphan repopulation. That's some crazy shit to consider. You don't have to take my word for it. But if you understand the idea of planetary resets and redistribution, the idea of orphan repopulation, there isn't anyone that didn't come from that. At various stages of our ancestral clearing and healing process. When we consciously participate and inquire on this process, we can make miraculous healing available not only to ourselves, but to our extended family of origin and throughout our bloodline. History. This is the secret of the master number code of 777. 7 generations of bloodlines will be impacted in the past and future simultaneously when the ascending vehicle, that's us, consciously participates with spiritual ascension to cosmic Christ consciousness. So for each and every one of us that is on the path of ascension of cosmic Christ consciousness, we're using the 777 code to clean all the generations. The now self, right, that we are right here in this now moment, is initiated to heal the entire bloodlines of past and future timelines from the present station of identity. This is the secret that the negative alien agenda is so desperate to hide from humanity. It's that easy. As soon as we're like, all right, I'm in the seat now, 777, clean it all, clean all distortions. That's what we're doing here. Parent-child protection command. We call upon the dispensation of the sacred 777 to release any ancestral patterns inherited in our genetic lineage that is contributing to any blockages, preventing us from our true soul and authentic God realization. We claim in the truth of our being fully revealed as the light, our divine inheritance, that is the truth, our self-sovereign God power and right. And then we're going to read this last part, the Keys of Enoch excerpt. Number 38, 38, warrior of light. Also, the number 38 is connected to gematria for gold, Jews, and SRA. That's what the number 38, when I hear the number 38 or see the number 38, I'm like, okay, warrior of light, Jews, gold, SRA. So we're clean. The warrior of light is cleaning satanic ritual abuse from the family lineage and from the planet. So the keys of Enoch excerpt. This sixth key then shows how the higher lights can modulate the physical universe, which is controlled by the force fields of 666, so that the pure thoughts of the masters working with the 7-7 principle, stars in the cluster of the Pleiades, have the power to materialize in a new heaven and a new earth, so that the former things will not be called to mind. That's what we're doing right now. We're literally in this like Mars opposing moon direct Pleiades alignment. So we're bringing in these timeless Palladian codes through the 777 and the keys of Enoch, materializing the new heaven and the new earth. The 777's moving beyond the 666 that's been held in the field. So the 39th verse of this Keys of Enoch, at that time, the liberated body of Gematria will go beyond the 7-7 combination, connecting the lower biological creation to become one with the Jesus Gematria of 888. This liberated body thus ascends into the higher infinite throne worlds of the Father's many mansions, which are liberated to reign with the Christ. Now, 38 and 39 added together equals the number 7-7, which is Christ in Gematria. And 38 is the warrior of light, and the 39 in Gene Keys, the 39 is liberation. I always say the warrior of light unlocks Sirius liberation. 39 is connected to Sirius as well. So we're just in the no time, no space, working in the genetic code. We go into the space, into the place, into the bloodlines. We clean it all up. We're inviting everyone to move beyond the family curses, the family lineage, restoring the celestial heavens on the planetary body by doing it within ourselves first, and then kind of coming together into the heavenly gates. Let's see, from true interdimensional homies or powerful elders makes the road so much harder. I find that the key is walking the middle path. It's the path of the true. We, the council, anchored here, as you said. Just reading some of your posts here. Yeah, I'm just reading your thing, Robert. Often people fall into just the student, just the teacher trying to go it alone. Yeah, I find the key is walking the middle path. This is 0 point. We are the council. Let's see, what do you got here? Oh yeah, let's move into the 0 point God matrix field, the source of our genesis. This is from the Ascension Glossary. The central point of union within our universe projects itself through the cosmic trinity, which acts as the threefold founder flame of the 13D, 14D, 15D rays. The mother arc, father arc, Christed child. I would say that is, the colors of the aqua ray, the magenta ray, and the golden ray. To create the prism of multidimensional life throughout the universal time and space fields. The source of the 0 point field is the infinite energy supply of our God creator that is contained within all living things. Love is a radiating, strengthening, and unifying force spiraling into the upward movement towards the central point of oneness, the 0 point. The force of love naturally aligns itself back into unity with the 0 point field, the unified heart of the universe. The absence of love or hatred is a disintegrating, separative, and weakening force, which absorbs light and energy away from the central point of oneness. To the more absence of love, the more absence of living right. And as a result, darkness is manifested through the process of fragmentation into successive layers of density. And so this is where I play with the 0 point energy. I might come out of 0 point for a minute. I might get entangled in the web of someone's duality or whatever. I go there, I hold the omniscient presence. I hold the all-seeing eye. I hold the love and the compassion field. I return all to center. Instead of return to sender, I return all to center. I collapse all fields. If I'm coming into a space in a place, it's for me to compassionately witness, neutrally observe, integrate polarities, and to bring it all back into the 0 point. That's how I live every single day of my life as a time traveler. I wake up, there's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow. I come into the field, I encounter something in the field. It could be dark, it could be light, it could be high, it could be low, it could be whatever it is. And I come in and I can observe that field. I can sit in the purity, in the presence, and I can collapse all fields. I don't hold anything in permanence for long periods of time because there is no time. So the sooner that I move through something and collapse that field, then we're on to the next one. And that is actually working with the 0 point energy field. You are sustained through that God source energy. And so you're really learning how this is the center of a toroidal field, right? It's like it's in a constant state of flow. It is a gushing life force energy coming out. There's nothing personal, and there's no such thing as running out of it. That's free energy, actually. Free energy runs through the 0 point field. And so that is sitting in the 0 point. That is quantum mechanics. That is 0 point mechanics. That's how I play the games, is sitting in the 0 point, observing, witnessing. I don't get too caught up. I don't get too jacked up. I also don't look away. I don't look away and I don't pretend, but I don't let anything weigh me down. I'm working in that 0 point energy field. It's in constant flow. It's purifying any and everything, right? I always say we're a toroidal field of energy. We're in a constant spin. Nothing is sticking to me. I can go into any field and my energetic field is going to purify that field. This is beyond time and space, and this is beyond what I say with my words. You know, it's like it's a field that you're holding in the invisible space. You're operating constantly in your invisible 0 point field space, but you also have a body. And that's why I just go where I'm called. That's the 0 point field. I sit in the 0 point and I go where I'm called. And I sit in the stillness of gate 52 until I'm invited to come out and play. And that's where I trust the magnetics. So I'm never brought somewhere by accident. And when I'm brought somewhere, I have that shield, that 0 point Christic shield. And I'm doing that digesting work. I'm doing that purification work. I'm doing that polarity integration, observing the field. I don't really get dragged down by anything, you know, and nothing can stick to me because I'm in constant flow, right? So nothing drags me down, brings me down, takes me down, because I've got that shield. That 0 point operation is always running through me. It's moving so fast that it is still. And in that field, this is the Phinix fire. This is the dragon breath fire. It's like you're in a constant state of purification. This is the rapture. Gene key 30, gate 30, my purpose, celestial fire, burn all desire, right? It's like there is such a flame and such a fire that parasites can't exist in the field. It has to clean and purify. It's effortless also. It's just flowing through you. This is the way that I start to personify or explain 0 point energy in the way that I use it, working with the celestial fire, working with the fires of purification, working with digesting any and all things that come into the field. Let's do one unified conscious energy source. As our understanding of this universal energy source continues to expand, we are soon confronted with the idea that it is intelligent, that it can directly interact with our consciousness. The entire universe is composed of a unified field or one unified conscious energy source. Then we are also a part of that field. Our consciousness can interact with it at many levels. And when we strip away the religious and denominational distinctions of various belief systems on the planet and try to weave a single thread through their teachings, we're left with the simple fact that the fundamental nature of God's energy is love and light. And since its nature is loving, we are told that it seeks to have everyone else's feel the same way. It is continually striving to have each conscious life form in the universe reunite with that love and light as much as possible. Hence, Jesus taught us to love thy neighbor as thyself. We are told that God is evolving through the free will decisions of its apparently separate participants. The whole universe changes as we choose to reunite in oneness. So in the simplest possible sense, we can either have faith or simply postulate that the entire universe is one being with one mind, and that both the non-physical ether and physical matter is all a fundamental part of that interconnected being. The world's spiritual teachings all tell us that God seeks oneness, unity, and connection, and they also associate this quite directly with the concept of vibration. And you could also say resonance, right? So it's like, yeah, you just like go into the field. And I always say the mycelium network rejects no one, right? So if I come into the field of any space and place, I'm not rejecting that field. It's all encompassing. I'm the observer, I'm the witnesser of the field. Now, there are times, don't get me wrong, where I leave a field of someone and I have to vomit. I get sick. I need to because I did something in the transfiguration process of purifying that energy field. It's really beyond this time and space, you know? And so, yeah, it's walking, talking energy fields, toroidal fields of energy, plasma blasters coming in, cleaning and purifying. We just go where we're called. You know, that's what we're doing from a quantum physics type of level. This is the Sophionic correction. So let's read the Mother Arc Aquamarine, my favorite color. Templar restoration. I always say the aqua ray is here to stay. The Golden Christ Templar 13D recoding connects directly into the first emanation of the Universal Trinity of the Godhead, the Mother Arc Aquamarine Gateway, the first emanation of the Universal Mother God Source as the 13th pillar. The Crystal Guardians have called this aspect of Holy Mother's aquamarine ray current the 13th pillar gateway, which provides completely new qualities of sound waves infused with the cosmic Manu Holy Spirit, spiraling out of the 0 point infused crystal waters and magnetic forces of the female spiritual principle that are powering up in the Earth's crystal core. Remember, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. The Mother Arc 13th pillar generates a tri-wave field that links with the transharmonic gateways of aquamarine spirals, arranging within the aquamarine crystal heart templars that are circulating the cosmic Manu still point field. Here we go again with the stillness, the 0 point, the still point field, Gene Key 52 of the Holy Spirit that is directly drawn in from the cosmic Amareya heart of the God Source. The Manu still point field is the void space of creation, the Holy Spirit of God that flows through 0 point and travels into the dimensions of the time matrix through the tri-wave light consciousness fields, and then circulates into the tri-wave sound consciousness fields, which then create a direct feedback loop that returns back into the cosmic trinity of God's source that exists outside of time. Remember when we welcomed you to this call, we're in the no time, no space. We're in the 0 point field. We are the galactic 0 point. We are running those currents, those trinity wave currents. You know, when I sit in the medicine space, I say, we call in the Holy Mother, Holy Father, Holy Child, the Trinity 0 point field, which is who we are and what we represent. And so we're operating in that no time, no space field, in the correction field, in the compassionate, loving, witnessing field of purification and the renewing of all things and restoration of all things to the pure holy light. The cosmic Manu Holy Spirit travels through Manu pillars into the cosmic Amareya shields made up of the 6 emerald crystal heart passages, igniting the aquamarine spiritual flame of the Amareya, which anchors the original divine Holy Spirit of Mother and Christ Child, the inner Christos blueprint intention of God, flowing into a complete feedback loop throughout all dimensions within 3D, 6D, 9D, and then returning back into the 12D layers. All right, so those are just some of the mechanics of color and code. We don't need to get too technical about shit. I just want to bring it back to this 0 point field that I'm talking about. You sit in the 0, you purify, you digest, you build your body of light, you purify yourself in order that you're purifying the field around you. We need as many pure fields of wholeness as possible. That's the invitation of all guardians to rise, to lay down the dramas and the traumas in order to come into these crystalline fields, to be walking, talking avatars, which may or may not require a verbal discussion, if you know what I'm saying, right? This is a humble field of service that knows very well what it is equipped with on a genetic level to hold this field and to come into, from the 0 point, no time matrix, into a time field and just really plasma blast pure love in the midst of all things. We're not really getting caught up with any identity within this field. It is a humble heart of service that allows this type of energetics to come through and repair the matrix. This is the sopionic correction, I would call it as well. There are many different terms and many different ways to call it, but that's what we're working with. All right, so I said I was going to read the 52. We're at 121. God, I'm so tempted to do it, but then I'm like, we just talked about so much. Do we really need to? But yeah, why not? Let me see if I want to pick and choose in here. The 52. I always have like old plants in my book. Some of them get a little moldy. Anyways, this one looks pretty beautiful in there. It's very jungle looking. Yes, babe? Yeah. Jungle. I have this beautiful flower in here too. Sing it. Oh, what are you eating? Avocado?
Avocado with egg.
Oh, bread. So good. Sourdough bread. And avocado, breaking the bread. Okay. The phenotype of fear, stress. Stress operates on many levels, although its primary impact takes place on the physical plane inside your body. This 50-second shadow, and of course this has to do with living in the inorganic time structure, right? Like when people talk about their nervous systems being fried, and it's like short circuiting of the system, right? It's like, yeah, none of us were designed actually to be slaves working all the time. And it takes a while for us to remember that. But then once we start to remember that, we collapse those fields. We no longer commit to those fields. And so new fields start to open up before us to accommodate a more calm, relaxed nervous system, a calm, relaxed reality. If we keep paying into that game and submitting our energy into that game, we will be stressed, we will die, our nervous system will be fried. If your nervous system is fried, it's because you are not living in alignment with the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are is going to be much more cosmic and much more still, in fact. And so we're breaking through old patterns. Remember, when we started this call, we were talking about creation mechanics, right? And so when the mother receives the seed and she's holding the child in the womb over a 9-month period of her rest and relaxation and nurturing of herself, she pops a baby out that's fully intact with all of the pieces and the parts. And she didn't have to run and pound the pavement to go make that happen, right? The seed came in, she held it in the womb. 9 months later, the creation's there. And so, like, really, we can learn a lot from remembering those creation mechanics. It's a lot different than what we've been told. Like, and for the slavery system that we were born into, that we're like proving our worth through always working and forcing and producing, right? And so it's about, we're still in creation. We want to create the most divine creations we could ever create. We're not looking for mass production of anything. We're looking for quality, right? We don't need to have 100 children. Some of us don't need to have any, and that's totally fine. It's totally fine that we stop continually birthing children on the planet when we're doing it to heal our own inner child within ourselves. And on the last call I was with Marcus, we were cleaning up the idea of the imposed, like, women need to have children and men need to make money and build houses and like create, like, no, just like cracking through the old structures of a man does this and a woman does that. I've got to do a little cough. Hold on. Okay. So the 52 is connected to the human health, especially true at the collective level. For that reason, we need to understand something very important about stress. It is a collective pressure and not a personal pressure. It's an energy field generated by every human being alive, rather than being rooted in any specific personal issue. This means that stress is also deeply connected to our environment and those around us. Our actual environment is formed by the boundaries of the human aura. The average human aura will extend to fill half of a normal-sized room, which means that, generally speaking, when you are in the same room as someone else, you share each other's auras. The more people you have in the same area, the greater the collective auric body grows. In densely populated areas, such as towns and cities, it is virtually impossible to escape the collective aura of others, even in the sanctuary of your own home. In more rural parts of the world, the pressure of the local aura is far less, and the degree of stress is therefore far less. However, because of the huge population currently existing on our planet, it is no longer possible to entirely escape the vast collective energy field of humanity. Billions of auras interlocking together form a great sheath that covers our world. This sheath or skin is what prevents human beings from seeing and experiencing the true unity of all consciousness. It is the construct known in the East as the Maya, meaning the great illusion. Human DNA is a fascinating substance. The chemical codes contained within DNA, although locked in from birth, are highly sensitive to vibrating energy fields. Geneticists refer to the genetic makeup of an individual as the genotype, whereas they refer to the manifestations of that makeup as the phenotype. So to an extent, the frequency of energy passing through the genotype determines the manifestations of the phenotype. This means your environment greatly affects how you feel and behave. And most importantly, it influences who you think you are. At the subtlest level, your environment is created by the subatomic world of vibration. The frequency you are tuned to actually determines this environment, regardless of your physical geography. In the case of the 52nd shadow, the collective or extended phenotype of humanity is shaped by fear, which creates an environment that puts the physical organism under great stress. The only way to escape this collective programming field is to rise above it at an energetic level, which is no easy task. You must somehow raise the frequency of energy moving through your genotype. When this occurs, the phenotype, the way your nature is experienced and expressed, will also change. Most human beings will rise above the energy field for brief periods of time and then fall back into it again. It is extremely rare for someone to rise permanently above the field of stress. I wouldn't put that limitation on yourself that it has to be rare to move beyond stress. The secret is to change your inner environment. That's what you can control, right? Control the controllables. You can control your inner environment, your feelings and your thoughts, thus changing what you see and hear. If all you hear is noise and all you see is chaos, then that will determine your experience. However, if you anchor yourself into a higher frequency, the same life can be experienced as though you were living in an entirely different world. Stress is a state of physical pressure brought about through the lowering of your frequency. One of the key manifestations of stress is the inability to escape mental anxiety. What happens is that you give the mind the authority to make decisions that you hope will end the stress. Oh, thank you, babe. This is my mermaid drink right here. It's a spirulina, banana, and honey. And it's so good. Mermaid food. Spirulina is one of Eduardo's favorite medicines. He's always talking about spirulina and reishi. Spirulina and reishi, and they both have, of course, benefits to the body and also detoxing metals from the body. So good and so sweet. Okay. So we're talking about stress, inability to escape mental anxiety. You know, I'm going to give you a tip. I totally agree. Eating death, eating meat is not the way. Absolutely not. Those are the remnants of cannibalism, period. We can justify it, hold on to it all we want, but alcohol and meat are usually those are the first two gateways that I go through. I want to be careful about this. It can be very offensive when you start to talk about this stuff. I get it. Talking about attachments is offensive. It can be when we have attachments to things, and that's how you know you have an attachment. When we get defensive about it. And we have to hold ourselves accountable to that. Because this is the game of no attachment when we want to stay in surrender and flow. One of the reasons I stopped eating meat in the first place, and I'm not going to lie, I had the near death. I was doing CrossFit. I was fucking building muscle. I could deadlift and back squat well over my body weight. Just a little 5'1.5" gangster in the gym. And I was probably consuming about 150 grams of protein a day. Some of it was through like shakes and things like that. I don't even really do stuff like that. I don't really do many things in packages, although I still eat a little pasta every once in a while. It's kind of my guilty pleasure. Thank you, River. Brought me her sandwich. A little avocado and bread. But anyways, I remember being like, there's no way I'd ever become a vegetarian. This was back in Texas when I'm surrounded by alcohol and brisket everywhere. Everything's about eating meat and 4th of July barbecues and all the things. Then I see this documentary. And it was saying how, and I'd listened to this podcast from a girl called the Green Smoothie Girl. And she was talking about how Everything was energy, everything was frequency, like down to like if you go to a restaurant and someone cooks your food and that cook is like in a shitty mood or whatever, that is transferred to your food and then you're consuming it. And I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting to consider. And then the other part was just about, you know, the slaughter of an animal. And I've heard a million people talk about like, oh, this was, you know, nicely slaughtered, you know, like a happy cow. And I'm like, okay, I mean, the last thing on anyone's mind when they get their balls chopped off or stabbed or jabbed or whatever the fuck is a traumatic imprint. And then we are consuming that imprint. We actually don't even need food to survive. That's the crazy. Like I had to completely step into like what could be considered like a financially poverty type of state to step into a reality of a more simplified way of eating. You know, I remember when it was easy for me to just order anything to be delivered at my house, any craving I ever wanted, whenever I wanted it. There's a time and a place for everything.
Yes.
And so this is the evolution of the light body, period. I try to keep it out of dogma. I try to keep it out of judgment. You got to do it when it's right for you. Nobody could have told me otherwise. Literally, I had just said there was no way I'd ever be a vegetarian. And then the next thing you know, by my own inclination, by my own decision, it was time. It's just like a mother telling their child, don't do something or do this or whatever. It's like, oh my God.
Texas sandwich.
Thank you, babe. Sorry, they're like feeding me avocados over here. Avocado is my favorite. Avocados, mangoes, bananas, occasionally a little bit of sourdough bread. It's a little bit of a luxury splurge for me. But yeah. It is an eventual part of the transition when we're talking about building the body of light and turning on the light body. But I have learned that you can't force it. You can't make it happen. Not here to condemn, not here to judge, but also here to lead by example. And so when people come into our space and place in our field, they eat what we eat. And they start to learn and see and feel like, oh, my digestion is smooth and I don't need as much to eat as I thought. And wow, I feel so light. And typically, naturally, without even thinking about it, they're losing weight. They're becoming more regular with their bathroom breaks. It's not so easy when you live, I know, in like the United States or other countries where you have access to every restaurant and, you know, all of the things. I'm trying to figure out how I'm actually going to eat this sandwich that Eduardo just handed me. So you'll know when it's time. You know, I love everyone through their journeys. My friend came to visit recently. We just immediately like introduced him like, oh, here, we have a little bit of cooked lentils. We have some rice. We have some beans. We have papayas and mangoes. And, you know, and we started like, he just jumped in and started eating with us. He was using a vape at the time. And I was like, hey, have you ever considered, you know, smoking like natural organic tobacco instead of using a vape, you know, and just kind of like brought things to a more natural, organic, you know, he cut out alcohol for a while. And it was like, it's very good for people to give themselves the experience of a shift, you know, in the way that they've been eating. So as I'm eating in front of you right now. I love breaking bread with my friends. I love communing with my brothers and sisters. That's the whole point of eating, is to sit at the table with your friends. And I dream of a time of us all coming together and breaking bread together, because there's nothing more sacred. You know, I miss that. Like, when I went vegetarian, it was right before I came to Costa Rica. So it was about 9 years ago. It was right before Thanksgiving. I go to my family's in Dallas. It's like, you know, beer and turkey 3 ways, you know, fried and roasted and whatever the fuck. They're all picking on me, you know, making fun of me and all of the things, you know. And I miss like those Thanksgiving times. Like I miss like sitting at the table with everybody and eating, but there would be no meat at my table, you know, not in this time. It was there for a long period of time until it wasn't. But that is my dream and my vision, to come and sit at the table and have pure, clean, rainbow foods of light, life-giving, that are made with love, you know, and eat with each other. It's so beautiful. Who's up in here? Hi, Shannon. I'm making my grocery list right now. I do better without meat too. Yeah, you know, one of my favorite things, first of all, even the whole idea that we need like so much protein and all of that, that's a part of the hijack too. Our DNAs of proteins, we are living light. We don't need as much as we think. Lentils is my favorite source. And I love sprouted lentils. I love raw sprouted lentils. I love avocados, like food without barcodes. Food without barcodes as much as possible. You know, food without packages with a list of a bunch of things on it. It's all about density, right? It's all about density. And so in my old life, I used to coach people on eating cleaner and cutting out processed foods and cutting out alcohols and like doing these 24-day challenges. We were still eating meat at the time, but I was helping people lose weight right and left. It was like incredible what was happening. The thing is, like, vanity can't be the goal. It can't be just about losing a couple pounds and looking good in your bathing suit. Like that used to be the promotion back then, because that just sells, you know. It's like, but it's about taking care of your body, you know, taking care of this physical vessel, taking care of your starship, taking care of your mothership, taking care of your body. Colors of the rainbow, colors of the rainbow. And in fact, the less food, the more your body can heal and repair itself, you know. And sleeping and resting, another way that the body heals and repairs itself. Your body is so intelligent. It's like, here we are, we're talking about the 52 and the shadow of stress. There is so much stimulation out there. Do this, do that, eat this, eat that, go here, go there, do this, you know, all of these cleanses, all of these things. The more living foods that you feed your body, the more better you're going to feel. And you have to go through the processes when you make a decision to do that, right? When you make a decision that I'm going to feed myself more living foods, you know, more colors of the rainbow. This is light body mechanics. You get to observe and become the watcher of your addictions, because your addictions and what I would call parasites, which are more mental and energetic than even physical. I mean, you might have physical parasites showing up. You're always going to find parasites in meat. Like that is undisputed. That right there is the undisputable for me. I'm not interested in parasites, you know? And so meat and parasites seem to really like each other. And they don't necessarily like the pure, clean rainbow foods. So this is just the important thing that you can start to do without any kind of parasite killing strategies or anything like that. Is feeding your body living life, living colors, and then observing all of the shadows of the mind that are like, I want that, I want this, oh, I want this, I want that. Because parasites love sugar. Parasites love meat. Parasites love technology, right? So it's not so physical. You get to stop anything right in its tracks whenever you want. You know, I was sharing on a last call, I like, or have liked in the past, a little bit of organic tobacco in my pipe, which turned into maybe a little more than a little bit sometimes. And so I'm now on probably the 6th or 7th day of just detoxing my body from that. I'm not saying I'll never have a little organic tobacco again in my life, but I know that my body needed a break, and I listened to my body. And I wasn't listening to my body because my body was starting to feel a little down, and it usually doesn't. You know, the 58 is the programming partner of the 52, and it's about vitality. And so vitality is, you know, that life force energy running through you, that vibrancy, that life, that energy, you know. And so the 52 and the 58 go together. You can study them both. And if you know your gene keys, you can go check and see if you have them in your chart and get a little deeper into it. If you ever want to dive more deep into your genetic codes, into your gene keys, into your galactic Maya codes, I'm available for some one-on-one work with that. It's my honor to share in that way. And I always have the gates open for people that are wanting to come to Costa Rica and work more in a one-on-one direct environment. In fact, the 52 that we're talking about here has a lot to do with being in the physical presence of the aura of someone carrying a 52, and how the stillness of that aura can start to change the mental space and really purify the thoughts and the energy field. Yeah, ask a question. I'm glad I caught that little post. Health is the goal. Aurora, please share this live. Kalis Denabra, yeah, ask your question. I'm looking out for it. I'm probably not going to finish reading all of the 52. But anyone that wants to know more about the Gene Keys, you can download the book on Audible, and you can even find a free... sometimes there's like a free Gene Keys book online. Like, I don't know. There's ways to go find the Gene Keys book if you don't already know it. You can go read it and pull your own design and understand a little more about your specific genetic codes. Something is attached to my chest. What can it be? It's disturbing my peace. Something is attached to your chest. Okay. Well, the first thing is that here's how parasites work, you know. They have addictions. They have addictions to stories. They have addictions to the mind. They have addictions to patterns, behaviors, people, traumas, all of it. Like, that's the first thing that I would say is, like, as I say that to you, it's like, what are your addictions? What are your patterns? What are the stories you're addicted to? What are the people you're addicted to? What are the impulses that are driving your patterns and your behaviors? Like, for example, my friend, he was addicted to pornography. As I understand, many people are these days. You know, everyone has their addiction. Food is a little more socially acceptable, but, you know, a socially acceptable addiction, but pornography. And he said it was like, there was like a fucking parasite, like a machine thing in his chest. And that literally, it was like driving his patterns, his behaviors, his desires, and his impulses. All right, so something is there. Why is it there? And it could be connected to like family member, situation, partner, bondage, but these are questions you have to do your own work to kind of identify, like, what is this thing I feel attached to my chest? Who is it connected to? Like, really sit with that, right? How did it get there? Who is it connected to? What is it connected to? Why is it there? And then it's like, do you want to keep that there? Now you've identified it, right? So obviously you could say it's a parasite, right? It's like, how do you want to keep it there? What are you feeding it that's keeping it there? What are you feeding it that's keeping it alive? I hope this is helpful. This is for anybody, right? This isn't just for the person that asked the question here. It's something that we can ask ourselves on all levels to anything that we're addicted to or attached to, or that we feel like is attached to us. And it oftentimes takes us breaking patterns. Let's see, what did he say? I had such filthy addictions, but I don't have any addictions now. I'm unable to get an answer. It was like a seed. I went to a healer and it expanded. Well, I just want to celebrate you for cleaning your addictions, for one. And maybe this just takes just a final cleansing and purification to cancel, clear, delete, remove all cords, to literally extract. I always say, Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. And so we are bringing ourselves into illumination. We are illuminating all things that aren't of the light, and we're bringing all things into the light. That's what illumination is. Wherever you still have any last shadows hiding is where those parasites tend to feed off of. That's where the wounds are. And so it's like an implant. And ultimately, only you can remove this. Like, I know we could say we're healers, or we're that, or we went to a healer, all of that, but you are the only one that can actually fully heal yourself. Like, that's the first empowerment that we all need, is that we are the ones that are here to heal ourselves. Now, sometimes we need a mirror. Sometimes we need someone to lay it down with. Like, I've had people come to me and lay down some pretty gnarly things that they've done. They needed to be seen. They needed to be witnessed. They needed to be brought to the light, so that they weren't hiding and feeding off of them anymore, right? And so that's what allowed them to like free themselves of, thank you, babe, of this, of these addictions, of these patterns. And so, yeah, bringing it to the light is the key here, as you're doing right now, but then also empowering yourself that you're the only one that can actually heal this. What do you see? I am done with all things. I tried a lot of rituals and healing myself, and nothing is helping. Well, the real question is, like, what are you seeing? Why do you think it's still there? Why do you think it's there? How do you think it's there? Like, usually you can like put words to it, put a person to it, put a feeling to it. The other thing I would say, just realistically, is if you've done medicine, or you've been working with any kind of shamanic whatevers, even healers, like sometimes they're feeding off of things. Like, the first thing, one of the things I'm thinking, in one of my videos, I talk about the 12-dimensional shield, and I do recommend doing this practice and literally like going through the purification process of building your body of light from the base of the spine and bringing the light all the way up to the top, and then starting to like radiate that light out. But for me, what's always been helpful is you gotta put it to a person, place, thing, a name, whatever. And so here's what I say. Like, if you had a tick in your body, right? Like, you went walking in the woods and you've got a tick in your arm. Well, on that level, you can look at that and you are going to take that motherfucker out. You're going to take that tick and you are going to extract it from your body so that it is no longer sucking on your life force, feeding off your blood, right? That you don't have a parasite in you. And so this is the trick with non-physical parasites, which I would call this a non-physical parasite or implant. And it could be rooted in trauma. It could be rooted in family lineage. It could be rooted in a certain experience that happened with you. But once you can identify it, right, then you extract it. It's not really a physical process. It's an energetic process. And the other thing is starving parasites, you know, like a fast. So I always say it takes about 5 days of starving parasites for them to die. You could think of this on a food level, on a physical level, but also on an energetic level. Because if you have certain patterns that that you feed, that's why actually I talk about the 40-day, 40-night fast of the Christ, and he's tempted with 4 things. He's tempted with power, he's tempted with food, he's tempted with the woman, the sex, you know. It's like whatever it is. But the other thing to ask is this: have you made any contracts, agreements? Have you made any blood oaths? Have you been a part of any satanic rituals? You know, these are the things that you can start to like sift through, do the math, see what comes up, inquire and ask yourself these questions. This is applicable to all of us. You know, anything with certain species, alien races, like I don't know your lifestyle. I don't know what you've made any agreements or allegiances with, but really do an inventory. We're all being called to do an inventory about where we are feeding off of something, or something is feeding off of us, where we're giving life or where something is taking life from us. And one time my friend was diagnosed with a kidney cancer. And I told her, I was like, look, you can go in and get this thing removed. But what I would recommend that you do is an inventory check. Who and where and what have you connected to that's been siphoning your energy? And it immediately, without me putting context to it, it brought her to an ayahuasca ceremony that she did in the middle of Brazil or Peru or something like that. You know, so you have to go into the inquiry and you have to find the things that lead you to the things, and then be the one to unplug it from yourself. It's not just something that someone can do for you. It's got to be you identifying it, because, you know, you are the keeper of yourself, and you are the purifier, and you are the cleaner, and you are the healer of yourself. And so when you're able to go in there and inquire on these things, you can start to find and be led to where you need to go to rewrite your code and to purify your vessel and to starve these parasites and to identify any of the patterns that are still feeding that. And of course, one of the healers is opening your heart to love, moving beyond any constrictions and restrictions in the heart, keeping the heart open, because naturally with an open heart, you start to move into more of a coherent heart causal plane pattern that starts to purify and redistribute energy. So yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah, I want to learn the energetic process, but I'm unable to understand how to move forward. Each healer wants me to pay him or her monthly, and nothing helped. Yeah, that's the funny thing about healing, right? Oh, it's 10:44 my time on the top of the 144 hour. To me, sometimes the healing industry is no different than the medical industry. It's like, it's a constant, because guess what? Only you can do this. I'm not saying that there aren't people to guide and help. I'm giving you $1 million information for free right now. Only you can free yourself. See, I have no ulterior motive, and I'm not here to catch your money. You know, it's like, This is the truth of the real path of liberation. You got to get in there. You got to know yourself. You got to do the work. You've got to investigate. You got to know yourself. You've got to be able to trace it all back if that's what you need to do without getting too mental about it. This is empowering. This is a real shaman. I remember seeing a post one time. I used to have it on my old Facebook account. It said, the true shaman is the one that helps you remember that only you can heal yourself. I mean, that is so deep. So there can be many tools and many rituals, but we can't give our power away to anyone else. And I'm here as a messenger of this truth. And, you know, the gene keys is good for the shadow work. The gene keys is what helped me go through my own self and do my own. A lot of our shadows are programmed from more of an astrological level. And so I did a lot of that inner work with myself. And I worked responsibly in some of the, you know, psilocybin fields to be able to be shown my own shadows, my own fears, shadows and fears. Here's the thing. I always say this about parasites or possessions or entities. The hungry ghost needs a host, and the host is anywhere that you have a shadow that is still hiding, that you don't want anybody to know, the last things about you that are hiding in there. That's where the shadow, that's where the hungry ghost goes. That's where the parasite or the entity operates. And so some of us have made allegiances with with beings, with entities, with, I don't know, fucking aliens. Like, get it all out of there. Illuminati of the light, evacuate all parasites. Purify my mind, body, heart, and soul. Lay it all down. Turn from my wicked ways. Do the inventory. Do the cleaning. You know, starve the parasites. Identify the wounds. It's just like, you know, if you have an open wound on your knee and the flies come swarming around it, right? It's like same thing. And obviously, if this is connected to your heart, what's up with your heart? You know, where is the heartbreak? Where is the heart pain? Where is the, and you can read Gene Key 25. It's specifically connected to the physiology of the heart. So I appreciate the question. And I mean, this kind of just gives you a glimpse into how I view, from my perspective, it's like, empowerment. I can't speak of this enough. I cannot take responsibility. This is like, it's a very tricky thing, you know, because someone could come to me and be like, hey, I need to be healed of this. And I'm just going to be like, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I know you can. Because you are the keeper. You are the keeper of your soul. You are the keeper of your body. And so that empowerment can really put us into a place to do that work, to do that inventory. Yeah. To activate that level of responsibility. When we all can come together in that level, it doesn't mean that we don't. This is where I see the future of community too, you know, because you're like coming into the community, you're coming into the community and everyone can see their own things. It's through mirroring, you know, but ultimately it's got to be you. It's got to be you. Okay. Yeah, it's already been 2 hours. So like, I'm tempted to read more of the 52, but I also don't want to keep everybody on here forever. Hormones secreted, which induces the bliss and the stillness throughout the body. Time standing still. Collective phenomenon that will soon be coming into the world, known as the stilling of the wave. This phenomenon will come about as a result of physical genetic mutation. that is predicted to sweep through humanity beginning around the year 2027. This mutation will trigger a sequential process involving the flowering of the 64 gene keys at a collective level and the expanding emergence of the gifts and the cities in the world. The expression stilling of the wave refers to the stilling of the chaotic emotional energy field that currently dominates our planet. One of the cities we will see coming into the world more and more is the 52nd city. Remember that this 52nd gene key is a seed archetype, and it concerns the unfolding of intention into individual destiny through service. As all cities are collective in nature, the 52nd city also contains the seed of a great new beginning and the original intention and dream of mankind to realize our position as the still point at the heart of creation itself. The 52nd city contains within itself the power to focus humanity in a single unified pattern. It emanates a collective energy field that will eventually pacify the human emotional system. The 52nd shadow of stress is closely related to time. Much stress is caused because people experience time as moving so fast, they panic and they try to catch up with it. The aura of a single being manifesting the 52nd city will literally stop the thoughts of everyone in their vicinity. It is a city that increases the wavelength between the particles of the subatomic world, and in doing so, it slows down perceived time. Every city floods the energy field of consciousness will change the way in which all human emotions operate. This kind of influx of stillness into our planetary aura will make it possible for many millions of people to follow their right destiny into far wider service of the whole. So we're talking about the stilling of the wave. I would say like in the 0 point, it's collapsing the wave, but I also say like the wave comes and the wave goes, and we don't hold on to the wave. We let the wave move through. You could say this is also emotional mechanics. Like there might be an emotion that picks up and then you just you let it come and you let it go. You're not holding on to anything, you know? Can I guide this process? You know, let me tell you what I did with this one guy. He had posted that he was possessed by Vatika, and he posted this like dark looking demonic woman or whatever. And I posted, free yourself from this possession. And he said, how do I do that? And I was like, come clean about everything you've ever done and everything that's ever been done to you. And he proceeded to tell me the different things that have happened to him, how he killed a man in his mind, how he got drunk and raped his children, how there were a few other things that he laid down in there, you know? And he said, what do I do now? And I was like, forgive yourself, you know, forgive yourself and turn from these ways. And that's what I told him. And that's what he did. And I compassionately witnessed his sins, you know, his crimes, if you want to call it that, his fall. He said he was drunk with alcohol and did these things, but he said them out in the open. And he punished himself enough. And so to forgive the self and to turn from the wicked ways, it's very much the teaching. It is the purification process. Yeah, to turn away from the sin. The death we die to sin. So 2:09 on the clock tonight, on the clock this morning. Sending you all much love. Great to connect. Keep it in the 0 point, collapsing all the fields. The wave comes, the wave goes. We don't keep anything too much in the permanence. And, I sit like this all the time. It's how I believe. I even sleep like this, actually. It's nothing I tried to make myself do. It just naturally happens. It makes the cerebral spinal field, short from the base to the head. But I would say if you can't sit in a position like this, you can work in the yogic practice to just kind of stretch the body in this type of way and start to work with I never sit in a chair. I never sit on a couch. I usually don't even sit on a pillow. I'll sit like this, or I'll sit like this or whatever, but really like working with the body, getting your stretches in. So we talked about just cleaning with the foods, cleaning with the thoughts, cleaning with the technology, stretching the body, loving the body, getting in the sun, getting in the water, purifying the mind, utilizing the solar energy. If you have access to direct sun, get out there, sit in it, bask in it, take a bath in the solar light.
Prayer in front of the sun.
Praying in front of the sun, Eduardo said.
Is your heart, the mirror, your heart and the sun are the same, it's absolutely united.
Connecting the heart with the sun because they are the same. That's the central sun of your heart. Yeah, utilizing the power of the solar energy. It feels so good to have that solar energy coming through the crown and to feel the heat on the body and to feel how it's purifying. It's connecting directly with your DNA. We are solar Christic beings. So we're allowing the sun to come in and to turn on the genetic code, to turn on the memory, to decalcify, to lighten us up. Another thing that's nice too is like pure clean water and putting it in the sun and allowing like the solar energy to come through the water that you drink. Obviously you can do your yoga in the sun. And to me, just to be honest, yoga and meditation, I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, I do my yoga practice and my meditation practice. You got to do what's right for you. Meditation, yoga, keep yourself in check, take care of yourself, all of the things. But the most important part, like you could be meditating or doing yoga for 3 hours a day, and that's great. But it's in the moment that you get jacked up. It's in the moment your addiction. It's in the moment of your emotion. It's in the moment of the chaos. That is the real meditation. That's the real yoga. It's in that moment that you get jacked that you can bring it back to 0 point. That's real yoga. That's real meditation. That's the real practice.
It's in this moment just created new frequencies DNA.
This is, Eduardo said, this is in the moment that you start to activate your new sequences of DNA.
You change one part of all the behaviors.
When you change the patterns of your old behaviors.
You change and purify all your family, universal family.
Change and purify all of your universal family.
You start to time travel and navigate.
You start to time travel and navigate.
Because
you want to come speak?
In another times, all the families come together at a specific time, not always, and for celebrate a very special abundance and fruit.
And another time the family comes together to start to initiate and celebrate the abundance and the fruits.
Beautiful and big fruit come from deep, the more deep spaces from the oceanic universal waters.
Beautiful and deep fruits that come from the oceanic spaces and waters.
Yes, and sometimes we have so many these times, these swells, these sets, these fructification, and sometimes not so much. But the thing is, when we have this abundance, these swells, this set, the beautiful wave of abundance, so many masters are united. It is so beautiful. Huge celebration. The big master come from different heavens with different technologies, with different wisdom, with different bodies, with different colors. Everybody era like one united.
Keep talking.
Uh, we don't talking so much in this time because no, it's necessary because era really flow with this beautiful abundance in the pleasure and enjoyment and ecstasy trance era the communication also with your light body language. We don't talking so much. Only when you want to say something or make one big shift in the field you talking, but not necessary only for hold my space because sometimes era the one dance another fun friend want to enter in your field you say one word oh something like that no matter the thing is in these times all these families are unique. If we use it water, we use it salty water, and we use it the sun energy. If we use it earth vibration, if we navigate it in infinite time, the enjoyment and trance and purification. Yes. Yeah, then.
Yeah, baby. Thank you, babe. You having fun, River? Okay. Well, a little introduction to my family. My love. Yeah, you're welcome to message me on Messenger. If you're still there. Yeah, love you all so much. Have a beautiful day. It's Friday. It's the weekend, and we'll pick this back up on Monday. Oh, do you have something else to say?
Yes, it's so beautiful. You watch it's so beautiful. You are inside this communion and this uh, exposition, the art and dance and movement and divine technology. Everybody wants to show her best movement, her best dance, her best higher feel, her best heart, my more higher frequency, my more beautiful art. You are in front of all these beautiful beings doing the best to her more pure heart. You are in the middle of all these beings learning and share, and you receive all these code and you learnings in mass so much, and you also you share. No matter if you feel so, oh, I am not so expanded like these beings. No matter, you are in this group communion for one reason because you are the same group. This is your turn now to show everybody's in front of you. Okay, you take this way, you show because in the moment you stand up in the way you forget you maybe you have some limitation or fears or whatever. You are one with universal love consciousness of oceanic vibrations. You believe and take out wherever little seed of condition for being in the matter field with feeling fear or feeling uh, something a limitation. Yes, entonces we are here for share always with so much love. We are here for share the best I have in my true nature. And your true nature is your unconditional heart. Because now people are so disconnected with the true heart, with true nature. If the heart we use it as one illusionary heart, only follow the illusion, follow uh, fake planes, the fakeness, the illusion, desire, temptation. I want to be fame, I want to be rich, I want the more powerful being. Y, y al original, our original design, the original sense of the humanity is absolutely pure, absolutely united with our higher self. God. Yes. Yes. This is all the
It's the Galactic Renaissance. It's the Galactic Reunion.
yeah. This is the red exactly.
We're all dancing together. We're reuniting together in the heavens, and we're sharing our beautiful hearts and souls, breaking bread with our galactic family. We're inviting everybody to rise and remember our origins and our roots as a galactic family and the celestial heavens returning.
Yeah, they are so beautiful. Because so many times you know so many of these beings. You talking a little bit because we know this is not nice. Not the best time for talking. It's only for another thing. But sometimes come so many different new family, new beings you never see before. If you have so much expectation and excited to see who he is. If you know who he is when he showed her heart her
Right.
whatever he want to do in her dance, or her technology, or her science, her exposition about I want to show this. Wow, he is amazing. He's so master. You immediately receive this. You learning so much only with the present, with her with her present, with contemplating, with observation. You say your aura entering my aura is one
Yeah, your
Communion.
auras merge. Yeah, your auras coming together.
resonance and vibration united. Yes. Entonces es the ocean bringing this kingdom, this united field, the beings, the multidimensional beings living in different houses in different heavens.
The ocean brings the
Yes.
communion of the
For this reason,
galactic beings.
For this reason, have salt because we make questions. Why the ocean have salt? Salty water. Because the salty are so connected with your DNA, the same like water.
It's a conductor of electricity
Yes, it's very
and purifier,
it's very peaceful. It's very purified.
the salt.
More in the external use. I think so. If we drinking, you eating so much salt, it's to create disease in the colloidal system. I think so. Better more in the external ways. And the solar ratios, solar rishi, solar colloidal system, solar photon rays. Entonces, somebody present, what is your favorite color? White. No, nothing about color, because white is a color. Of course, I know white and the supposedly, I think so. It's close there.
I can hear you. I like to